Saw a story on here that reminded me this incident that happened a few years ago. Where I used to work, our store was undergoing a renovation. If you were to look at the front of the store, the main entrance, which were just regular pull-open doors, was on the left side of the building. But with the renovations going on, it was decided that the main entrance would be moved to the center of the building with new automatic doors. When the construction was complete, there were still renovations going on the side of the building where the old doors were. So there was fencing up all around the doors, with signs hanging on the fencing saying the new entrance was located just further down the building. One day, I was working around where the old doors were located, and I saw an older woman, maybe late 50s to early 60s, trying to push past the fence, going through deep snow, that the fence was partially buried under, to get to the doors. So, I go out the old doors, and inform the customer that this is no longer the main entrance, and that the new main doors are located just at the center of the building. This woman looked at me, seemed to be taken back, and get that twitch that you see when people get pissed off, and she stormed back to her vehicle, and drove off. I just laughed. Another case of customers not paying attention to signs, or not using their heads. I can't stop laughing about this. It may be the first time a customer has actually told me to fuck off. I took my break a little early to calm down, and get this written ASAP, because I was still understandably upset. I'm now editing, posting at the end of my shift. To set the scene, I am a key holder, manager at a retail craft store, and we have a lot of sales, coupons that constantly change. Essentially, nothing is the same price from week to week. The guest in question walked right up to me and asked to return a couple candles from our fall collection she had gotten for Christmas. They have already been discontinued and we require a receipt for most returns, exchanges, especially if it's an item not in our system anymore. Official policy says not past 90 days, but you know corporate makes us break their own policies to keep the customer happy. About once a month, my store would put those tiny tins of fancy cat food on sale, from about $1 to 50 cents. One particular time, I saw a guy just sweep the entire shelf into his cart, even discounted. We're probably talking $100 plus. He then asked me if I had more in the back, and then if I could check other stores in the city. I asked him how many cats he had. I thought maybe he worked at a shelter or owned a tiger. It turns out, he had one that would only eat the juice. According to him, the cat would only lick off the liquid, but not eat the solid food, so, he would just open a dozen or so tins, and pour the juices into a dish for the cat. He was literally wasting dozens of servings a day. I can't imagine the juices alone were all that nutritious, so when I never saw him again, I kind of assumed his poor cat had died of scurvy or something. I know some pets can be picky, but I'm sure if he'd left the solid food out a little while, the cat would have gotten hungry enough to eat the whole thing. So I was fairly new at my supercenter general merchandise job 3 years ago, working in our health and beauty section for the first time. A younger, mid-20s, woman comes up to me and says she's looking for something that she's bought before but can't find. I asked her what it was and she makes a face and half whispers the emergency pills. I awkwardly nod and take her over to the family planning section where we have Plan B stocked. She looks at it and just says, "Oh, that's not where they usually keep them." Well, I was looking for another type. It has a lot of vitamin C. Me being an idiot, I remember that vitamin C in large quantities can be used as a contraceptive. I showed her where our vitamin C supplements were and she said, "Oh well, it's a particular brand I wanted, so maybe you just don't carry them now." Thank you though. A few minutes later I saw her leave with a package of emergency brand vitamin C supplement and felt horribly embarrassed for the misunderstanding. Hi friends. Long time, first time. I have dozens of stories, some more extreme, but wanted to share one that gets the most laughs for my first. I was covering a shift at a store that wasn't my own, helping a former manager I was friends with, so I already felt a little bit fish out of water. It was already an abrupt change that in this store, the people were ruder and more in a hurry than I was used to. I would greet every customer, and instead of answering my query as to how their day was going, they would just blurt out their order. "How's it going? Marlboros?" Hi, how are, 20 bucks on pump 7. I got much more accustomed to this as years went on, even expecting it, especially closer to a city, but I regret not standing up for myself on this one. Me, how are you? Dude, spam and skull. Me, spam and skull. Spam isn't kept back here. It's in the aisle. Dude, spam and skull. Hurry up. Me, confused, I'll go get the spam for you if you want, but. Dude, spam and skull. Spam and skull. Me, okay, I'll go get the spam in a second. Why don't you tell me what flavor of skull you want? Dude, spam and skull. What are you a fucking retard? Put your hand at the skull. Now to the left. Left one more. Oh, now you got it. Where do they even find you people? I looked where he was pointing, and it was in fact skull, in the spearmint flavor. The thick New England accent led me to believe he wanted canned meat, but I was clearly mistaken. I made the sale and let him on his merry way. My company wasn't great about standing up for the employees in situations like this, but I still regret serving him. I later became a manager in this company and would never stand for customers talking to my crew this way. It at least ranks up there with comical misunderstandings that have happened in real life. Thanks for reading. I work for a hardware store. At the customer service desk. I work the early shift. We have a lot of regulars, contractors and DIYers alike. Well, one customer, we'll call him Davis, is a complete D-bag. Exceptionally narcissistic. Expects to be greeted with joy and thankfulness at his mere presence. Well, he doesn't get that. It almost seems that with every shopping experience, less people are willing to help him and are suddenly otherwise engaged. This tale happened yesterday. Davis enters at 6:30 a.m., and immediately asks who can I have? I know I must have looked at him in a certain way, because I loathe him already. So I tell him who is in the department that can help him, and he tells me he's not going to be doing any loading of anything, because he doesn't work there. After the manager is called over to explain that either he can do it with assistance or he can place an order and it will be pulled in the standard window of 1 hour. I'll spare you the details, but after a very hostile encounter, I've decided I will no longer assist Davis when he comes in. If I'm alone, I'll call someone to come assist him. And should he persist, my sole reply will be, you can't tell me what to do, you're not my boss. You don't work here. I hate people sometimes.